What's up, YouTube? You already know it's your boy Sticks, and we're going back in the mix. Hey, check this out. If this is the first time you're coming across my channel, on this channel, I got over 250 videos. A lot of those videos are my lockup stories, reaction videos, and I also have some lives. So I got a little bit of something for everybody. If you're interested in that type of content, go check out the channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd really appreciate it. Now look, like I said in my last reaction video, we're looking for some of the toughest prisons that you could possibly do time in. And today, we're going to be looking at the top 5 craziest prisons you can find yourself in. Now look, I know we all been through some type of struggle in life, whether it be pain, poverty, homelessness, whatever the case is. I don't feel like you make it through this life without some type of struggle. But after watching this video, it's going to make you think as long as you're free, you have a chance. Because the conditions behind the walls of some of these prisons we're about to look at are treacherous. With that being said, let's take a look at this video and see what's going on. Come on.
Coming in 5th amongst the world's most horrible prisons, Tent City in Arizona, where prisoners live in tents in the middle of the desert. And it can get as hot as 60 degrees Celsius.
Could you imagine being out there in the middle of a desert inside of a tent? I actually know that there's a guy on YouTube, AZ Ruction. He's been in this actual prison facility right here. And I'm telling you, it doesn't get much worse than that when you're living out in the elements of the Arizona desert. Come on.
The highlight of the day is dinner. But the prisoners in Tent City are not very enthusiastic. Maybe that's because there's not very much choice. It's the same thing every day.
This we like to call kibble. No, I'm just kidding. It's like soy and, I don't know, dog food.
The dish contains mashed potatoes, dough balls, vegetables, and soya, which has been processed into dog food.
Never. Not gonna touch it. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You can dare me.
It's been processed into dog food, so they're feeding them legit dog food? Or is that just a nickname for it? Man, come on, these are humans, not animals.
It's not happening.
The men get the same food every day. No wonder, because the menu is created by United States' toughest sheriff, Joe Arpaio.
If they don't like the food, too bad. Don't come to jail. What did I run a... Can I have Chinese one week, Italian the next? What is this, a hotel? I'm going to take away their butter now. Save another $100,000.
If you take a picture...
Man, that's crazy. Look, I understand this man has a job to do, and he's right. He's not running some type of resort. This is prison. You're locked up. You broke the law, and now you're in this situation. And they don't want it to be comfortable because they don't want people to just keep coming back. They want to make it worse in there than what would be out on the streets, no matter what your situation would be. But at the same time, you're still messing with humans. This is people's families, their moms, their dads, brothers, sisters. They have loved ones, people that care about them out there. And to treat them like they don't even matter, you have to be some type of real messed up in the head to think the way he's thinking. You know, save $100,000, take away their butter. That don't come out of his pocket. The state pays for that. The taxpayers pay for that. Come on.
of wet dog food, and then you see this after a couple bites, it looks just like wet dog food. You know what they feed the pigs out on a farm? That's what it looks like.
I don't know, it's nasty. It's nasty stuff. I don't know, I wouldn't even feed my dog it.
Added to this is a special torture. While the prisoners eat dog food every day, they have to watch cooking shows on TV.
That's good. They learn how to cook.
I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Does this guy, is he got the right state of mind? Is this how he's supposed to act in a position of power that he's in? I don't know. It just seems like he's sitting back laughing about people suffering. And to me, that's crazy because there's a lot of people that deserve to be locked up. But there's also people that just made mistakes. That one night out drinking and you wake up and now you're facing all day in lockup. Or that one little snap because so much is built up on your chest throughout childhood and everything. You know, you should be worrying about trying to rehabilitate these inmates than worrying about taking their butter away and saving the state some money. I'm just saying, it seems like this guy has just no respect for human life. Now let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. Am I wrong? I mean, he is playing his part.
This kind of treatment has resulted in the sheriff being criticized by human rights organizations. So eventually, Tent City is being closed down. But there are even worse places.
So they're closing down Tent City. And I agree with that 100% because you don't need to be out in the elements of the Arizona desert. I mean, just think about it. It's not safe for anybody. The guards, the inmates, or anybody at all. Just for the simple fact is, you don't even have walls in the roof. You are literally sleeping under a tarp in rusted bunk beds. It's crazy, but it's going to get even worse. So let's get into number 4. Come on.
Horrible prisons. The Sofia Central Prison in Bulgaria. A rundown building which hasn't been renovated since the Soviet era. Neither outside nor inside. In the so-called prison tower, nets have been installed to prevent murders and suicides. Everything here looks ancient.
Did you see the guy down there sweeping the floor? If they didn't install those nets and you was to go over that top rail, they would have to scoop you up with a shovel. For real. Because, man, that was high up in the air. I mean, you would hate to be dangling over that thing.
This is where new prisoners take their pictures. The guards record the data by hand. Afterwards, they give them a haircut, because long hair is a paradise for lice and fleas. It's hard to look behind the scenes here and see what the conditions are really like. But there are videos posted regularly on the internet that show the situation behind bars.
Whew, it's just crazy to think that people are actually living in those types of conditions, for real. And when you find yourself in prisons that are considered dungeons like this, just think, it's a free-for-all. It's every man for theirself at this point. And I guarantee you that people are walking around with chips on their shoulder, nothing to lose, just mad about life because look where they got. This is the bottom of the barrel right here. I mean, think about it. You're locked up. The condition's bad. It don't get much worse other than dying. That's it.
A former inmate confirms these conditions. He remembers exactly what goes on inside the prison in Sofia. He was incarcerated for 6 years and served his entire sentence in Sofia.
Oh man. Not much has changed. It hasn't been that long.
If you ask him what the worst thing about this prison was, he doesn't know where to start.
The thing that breaks you is the lack of hygiene and zero healthcare. Our cell, 9 people crammed into 130 square feet. 3 bunks on top of each other. Water comes in from everywhere. Some of the prisoners cover the ceiling with plastic to avoid having the water drip onto the bed. During the winter,
Think about how bad the mold is in there. If you have water literally leaking into the walls, the ceiling, onto your bed, just in the facility itself, imagine the black mold and what you're breathing the whole entire time you're locked up in there for years and years, for nobody to come to your rescue. This is like foreign, so where's your rights? You don't really have none. You're an inmate. It's crazy.
of the 24 hours of a day, maybe 1 hour is warm. People aren't worth anything in here.
According to European law, inmates must have at least 4 square meters in a cell. But Bulgaria doesn't care. Here, it's just 2 square meters per inmate.
Alright, so number 4 was definitely a treacherous lockup. Like that man said, there's just no way for you to have good hygiene living in a place like this. It doesn't matter how clean of a person you are, because the actual facility is falling in around on you. Now, a lot of the lockups I've been in, you get these guys, man, they'll shine the floor and they'll shine the toilet to where you can literally see the reflection off of it. And yeah, you might be in a little room with somebody else, but at least you don't have water dripping in on you. At least you ain't breathing in mold. At least not any of the places I've been. I'm sure there's people out there that's been in some pretty rough spots like this. But man, I'm telling you, could it get worse? Well, let's see what number 3 looks like. Come on.
In La Paz, Bolivia.
Bolivia.
Whoever goes through that gate has absolutely no rights at all. Within these prison walls, the inmates rule themselves. Guards stay outside. It's like a city within a city. The rules are set by so-called delegados, the inmate bosses. That's why San Pedro has its own set of punishments.
In there,
Hold on, there's kids inside this prison-like city that actually have children around people that are locked up for God knows what. Man, come on. Kids shouldn't be living in this condition.
in the pool, we drown the sex offenders. They're beaten, and then we dump them in there. That's it.
Did you hear that? That pool right there is where they take care of the offenders. And the thing about it is, the inmates run this prison, right? So as soon as there's an offender like that coming in, I'm sure the word gets to the higher up guys, the higher up inmates. They pass the word along. There's nowhere you can hide. And plus, why would they lock them up in there? There's children in there. So you could be convicted for a crime like that, and then they're going to put you in a place where there's kids running around? Oh, they got to do better than this.
When no one's being drowned, children play around this pool. That's right, children live here, together with their parents. yet hopelessly neglected. This is because the parents are busy making money. Without it, life's...
Look, I ain't even gonna lie, man. I got a soft spot when it comes to children. And I really don't think that the kids should suffer because their parents made a bad decision. And I mean, it's like that for a lot of us too. You know, my upbringing was pretty bad growing up in poverty because my mom made a decision to be a drug addict. But at the same time, even the conditions that we were in, I could at least go outside and have some type of freedom, ride a bike, you know, go play with the kids down the street or whatever. These kids are actually locked behind the walls with their parents. Think about that, being a child growing up in this type of condition.
Possible here. That's also the case with this family man.
Money rules daily life. I came here with 10,000 pesos. On the third day, I only had 90 left.
Every month, he has to pay the delegados the equivalent of $100 rent for his cell. Otherwise, he and his family...
$100 a month. Otherwise, they're going to rent that room out to somebody else. That way you don't have no privacy with your wife and kid living in prison with you. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Have you ever even heard of anything like this? Now, I know we're going outside the country and stuff like that, but still, just to think that humans are living in these type of conditions is heartbreaking, for real.
will end up on the streets of San Pedro. Whoever gets on well with the inmate bosses is allowed to do more responsible jobs. Those they don't like clean the toilets and sweep the yard. And those who don't do as they're told simply disappear without the guards ever knowing.
That's what I was saying. You have the inmates running the prison. And like River City, yeah, we had COs and they let the inmates basically run the program. But we had structure, we had rules, we had stuff like that. And if it wasn't obeyed, then the COs could step in. The COs don't even walk inside this prison block. So whatever those guys say goes. And if they don't like you, then you just disappear. Never to be seen again. Don't ask no questions. Nothing. You're just gone.
I have no idea what is going on in there. They do what they want inside those walls. We are not allowed to enter.
The government has written this prison off. It costs too much money. Now, the inmates rule. And make their own rules. Terrible?
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and say number 3. It was worse. I can't believe that it can get even worse, but we have 2 more prisons still to look at. I wonder what number 2 is. It's crazy for me to think that they have kids living in those types of conditions for real, because their parents decided to make a bad decision. Come on, let's look at number 2. Crazy.
Even goes a step further. The South Cotabato jail in the Philippines. One of the most overcrowded prisons in the world. 69 prisoners share a cell of just 80 square meters. Newcomers have a particularly hard time because the decision about where they sleep is made by the cell leader, also an inmate. This means either sleeping on the floor or right at the top where the heat accumulates. Someone being allowed to enter the yard is also up to the cell leader.
It's unbelievably hot. I can't breathe. I feel claustrophobic. I don't know how I'll make it.
Oh my goodness. Could you imagine the smell in there? that many people stuffed inside that cramped, hot room. You lay this way, he puts his feet in your face this way. Oh my goodness, man. I don't know, this is the type of stuff that people usually don't see right here. And that's why I like doing these types of reaction videos, because here in America, we think we have it so bad. We're locked up, we have no rights, we have this and that, and we're willing to complain about the booty bandits, whatever the case may be. But look at this, they're literally asshole to elbow in this hot, super hot room. I just couldn't even imagine the stench that this place has.
The daily task for new inmates is scrubbing the floor, the most menial activity in prison. The inmates are under constant supervision by the cell leaders. Only those who follow the rules can work their way up and get more privileges.
It stinks. Disgusting. At least I'm outside and can move around. Even if the work's degrading.
A terrible system. And to make matters...
Well, look, the one thing that I could say, there's not going to be a race riot that breaks out here, because they all look like they're the same color to me. So maybe they will work with each other and try to make these situations better, keep the floor clean with old well water, whatever you can do to make your situation better when you have a deteriorating building collapsing around you and they're literally stuffing people on top of people to sleep. It's crazy.
As worse, nobody knows when they'll get out of here. South Cotabato Jail is a remand center, but many inmates wait years for a trial.
So a lot of the people that's locked up there, they don't even know when they'll ever see a judge or have a trial. They're liable to spend years inside these conditions before they're ever even sentenced. What if they're in there for something super petty, but yet they don't even get to go see the judge or whoever decides their fate in a country like that? It's just crazy. No rules, no system, no government, no rights, just absolute bottom of the barrel. Just wow. I couldn't imagine what the #1 video is. Let's see, come on.
The Antananarivo jail in Madagascar. Madagascar is one of the few countries where the plague is still a major problem. And the prisoners are exposed to this danger without any protection. They live among rats, in the midst of garbage, and in extremely unsanitary conditions. If the plague breaks out here, it spreads like wildfire.
Oh, wow. They're literally living with bugs, lice, rats. Madagascar. This is crazy. Now, I don't know too much about how these different countries are. Maybe living in little huts on the side of a hill somewhere or something. But either way, it would be better than this, just to have your freedom, just to be able to walk outside, whether you gotta hunt your own food or however they might live. It's better than being trapped in them walls with the rats and nowhere to go. And they said if the plague breaks out, it spreads like wildfire. So if something like that does happen, the chances of you losing your life in there are pretty good. Could you imagine? I mean, why wouldn't they at least go around shoveling up all the garbage and just have one area for all the nasty garbage instead of having every corner littered with garbage? You would think that they would get together or something and make an area where the rats can't get in, where they don't throw the garbage. Or maybe the people just don't care because they have no hope no more. They're basically already living in hell, hellish conditions, so they have no hope. They just don't even care at this point.
Because the prisoners sleep back to back. Turning around is only possible on command.
Come on, turn around.
Well, since I've been here, I sleep 1 hour and 30 every night, no more. Because of the fleas, because of what you think of what's happening outside, but I try to survive. And I hope that on Monday, when the sentence will be pronounced, I can go home.
But even here, prisoners sometimes wait for years for a trial. And those who do not abide by the prison rules until then are sent to the hellhole, into solitary confinement. That means alone in a filthy hole with no daylight and no toilet.
Wow, could you imagine doing time in the hellhole, the box, whatever they call it? Oh my goodness, man. There's just mold and nastiness piled up in the corners and stuff that you can't even identify growing in there. And I know people are going to say, but this is foreign countries, they live different, but they're still humans. They still have a right to live and breathe clean air. This is still somebody's loved one right here. You know, it don't make it any less worse because it's Madagascar.
All you can do is sit around in there. Sit around and sleep. But you're virtually sitting on your own excrement. Sitting around and sleeping. I didn't have any clothes like these. I was naked down to my underpants. It's damned tough. You can't even take a spoon in there with you. So you have to eat with your hands. But your hands are filthy with your own excrement. So, you can imagine what it's like. An overcrowded prison, unhygienic, full of rats and the risk of dying of the plague. An undisputed #1 spot among the world's most terrible prisons.
Wow, man, I didn't really think that we was going to be seeing a prison where the plague still exists, where the plague could literally break out at any given time. These conditions are literally treacherous. Like, I don't even have words to describe what I saw. You know, number 5, Tent City, I thought that was going to be pretty bad. Being out in the middle of the desert, basically living underneath the tarp. But man, when they started showing them rats, oh my goodness, did you see the bug bites the guy had? Now, I do know that there was a story not that long ago of somebody dying in lockup from bed bugs. So, I mean, yeah, we have a lot of treacherous conditions here in our own country. Stuff that we need to fix here in our own country. But it definitely makes you thankful to be an American, to have some type of rights. Like I said before we started this video, a lot of us come from pain, poverty, suffering, whatever molded you into the person you are today. But just remember, it's way better than being locked up, losing your freedom, and having no way out. It's crazy. Hey, until next time, hold your head and stay out of lockup, because you could lose your life in there, for real.